While this may look like something right out of a video game, authorities say these are actual assassinations carried out by teenagers and part of a growing and terrifying phenomenon.
You have been dreaming about Europe, ancient cities, wine country, coastlines that look like paintings. But here is what the travel influencers are not showing you. Some of those picture-perfect destinations are hiding dangers, scams, failing infrastructure, and healthcare systems that will leave you completely stranded when you need help the most. Today we are ranking 10 European destinations from the most dangerous to the genuinely safe, so you know exactly where to go and exactly where to stay away from. The best are at the top of this list, and at least one of them is going to completely change the way you think about European travel.
Russia rang in the new year, launching a massive drone attack on Ukraine, pulverizing part of Odessa, the crucial Black Sea port city, leaving 6 wounded, including 3 children.
Number 10. Ukraine. We are starting at the absolute bottom, and there is no argument to be had about this placement. Ukraine is at war. A full-scale military invasion began in February of 2022, and while the front lines have shifted over the years since, the fundamental reality has not changed. Active combat operations, missile strikes on civilian infrastructure, and drone attacks on cities including Kyiv, Kharkiv, Odessa, and Lviv are ongoing features of Ukrainian daily life. The US, UK, EU, and virtually every Western government issue do not travel advisories for Ukraine. Not avoid non-essential travel. Do not travel. That is the strongest advisory any government issues, and it reflects ground truth accurately. The healthcare system, functional before the invasion, has been significantly degraded. Hospitals have been struck. Medical supplies and personnel have been redirected to military needs. For senior travelers with existing health conditions, the combination of a wartime environment and a compromised medical system is as dangerous as any combination on this list. There is no tourist infrastructure operating in any meaningful sense. Kyiv's golden-domed monasteries, Lviv's Habsburg Old Town, the Carpathian Highlands, all of it will be there when peace comes. That peace has not come yet. Do not go to Ukraine. The beauty is real. The danger is equally real, and it is not the kind of danger that preparation or awareness can meaningfully offset. And speaking of countries where political catastrophe has overwhelmed a once promising destination, the next entry on this list is one that should have been a great European success story, and instead became something very different.
These are tactical nuclear weapons we're talking about here, designed to be used on the battlefield. They aren't the large-yield strategic nuclear weapons that are capable of wiping out cities. And I should also add that Russia already has planes and missile systems in place in Belarus that are capable of delivering these smaller-yield tactical nuclear warheads.
Number 9. Belarus. Belarus does not attract the tourist numbers of its neighbors, and there is a reason for that. The country has been governed by Alexander Lukashenko since 1994, making him Europe's longest-serving authoritarian leader, and the political environment he has maintained has direct and serious consequences for foreign visitors. The 2020 election, assessed as fraudulent by independent observers and most Western governments, triggered mass protests that the Belarusian government suppressed with documented violence, mass arrests, and torture of detainees. The crackdown extended well beyond the protest movement. Foreign journalists have been detained. A commercial aircraft was forced to land in Minsk to arrest a dissident blogger on board. Several Western nationals have been arrested on charges their governments describe as politically motivated. For foreign travelers, the practical implication is stark. The legal protections you take for granted at home do not apply in Belarus. The government has demonstrated a willingness to detain foreign nationals, including EU citizens and Americans, on pretexts that have no basis in recognizable rule of law. If you are arrested for any reason, your government's ability to secure your release or even maintain consular access is genuinely limited. Belarus was never a mainstream tourist destination. The reasons for that have only deepened since 2020. And if Belarus feels like an obvious entry on this list, the next country is one that will genuinely surprise you because its problems hide behind one of the most polished tourism marketing operations in all of Europe.
Hundreds of people have been arrested in Turkey following violent clashes between protesters and security forces. The country's interior ministry says more than 300 protesters have been detained in over a dozen cities. Tens of thousands of people have taken to the streets since Wednesday.
Number 8. Turkey. Turkey is extraordinary. Istanbul is one of the great cities on earth. The Hagia Sophia, the Grand Bazaar, the Bosphorus at dusk, the food, the layering of Byzantine and Ottoman civilization that exists nowhere else in the world. Cappadocia is one of the most visually spectacular landscapes anywhere on the planet. The Aegean coast from Bodrum to Sesme is world-class in every way. Turkey's appeal is real and deep and hard to overstate. But Turkey in the current political moment carries risks that are not captured in mainstream travel coverage, and those risks have become more documented and more significant in recent years. The terrorism risk in Turkey, while substantially lower than at its peak in 2015 and 2016, remains elevated compared to Western Europe. Crowded public spaces, transport hubs, and popular tourist areas have experienced incidents in the recent past, and the security environment requires a level of background awareness that travelers in Switzerland or Denmark simply do not need to maintain. For senior travelers, Istanbul's private healthcare is one of the more encouraging dimensions of this entry. Memorial Hospital, the American Hospital, and Acıbadem all operate at genuinely international standards, and the cardiac and surgical care available at the best Istanbul facilities compares favorably with Western Europe. That quality is concentrated in Istanbul and, to a lesser extent, Ankara and Izmir. In tourist regions outside the major cities, the gap in medical quality is significant. For retirees traveling along the Aegean coast or in Cappadocia, the distance from adequate specialist care is a real planning consideration. Cost in Turkey has become exceptionally favorable for travelers holding euros or dollars due to the lira's sustained depreciation. Infrastructure in Istanbul is impressive, with one of the world's best new airports and a modern metro system. Outside the major cities, quality drops but remains functional for most tourist routes. And the next entry is one where the problems are far more visible on the surface, yet millions of tourists continue to arrive every year without engaging with them at all.
2023 was when Greece saw what leaders call an unprecedented spike in car thefts, with stolen vehicles accounting for nearly a fourth of all reported Part 1 crimes.
Number 7. Greece. Greece is one of the most beloved destinations in the world, and for powerful reasons. The Acropolis at dawn, Santorini at sunset, the Aegean. The food, the light, the history at every turn. The appeal of Greece is not manufactured, it is earned. But Greece in the current moment has specific problems that get lost in the romantic noise surrounding the destination. Athens has a documented street crime problem that has grown alongside economic pressures and a migration transit situation the city has struggled to manage. Pickpocketing in the metro, particularly on routes to Piraeus and around Syntagma and Monastiraki squares, is so common it appears in official Greek tourism advisories. Bag snatching by moped riders in tourist-heavy areas is increasingly reported. For senior travelers moving more slowly and carrying cameras, Athens requires a level of active vigilance that the destination's sunny reputation simply does not prepare visitors for. The islands vary enormously. Santorini and Mykonos are relatively calm from a crime perspective, but now price at levels rivaling Paris and London. And for island travel specifically, the healthcare situation requires honest consideration. On Santorini, serious cases are airlifted to Athens. The logistics of getting a critically ill person from a clifftop hotel in Oya to a helicopter pad and then to a hospital capable of treating them is not as seamless as the brochure experience suggests. For retirees with cardiovascular conditions, that chain of logistics deserves specific, advanced thought before you book. Greece belongs higher on this list for many travelers, and depending on where you go and when you go, absolutely should be. But the gap between the dream it sells and the vigilance it requires is wider than most tourists expect. Now, if this list is already helping you rethink your European travel plans, hit that like button right now. This information is out there for free, but most people never find it before they book the wrong trip. Let us keep going. The European Health Insurance Card provides coverage for EU citizens, and private travel insurance for non-EU visitors provides excellent coverage at very reasonable rates given the quality of care available. Infrastructure is exceptional in ways that make other countries' excellent infrastructure look approximate. Swiss trains run on time. This is not a cliché. It is an engineering and operational achievement maintained deliberately and continuously. Swiss roads are beautifully maintained even in alpine winter conditions. Airports in Zurich and Geneva are among the most efficient and passenger-friendly in Europe, with direct service from North America and global hubs. Power is absolutely reliable. Internet is fast and ubiquitous everywhere, including in mountain villages. Cost is the honest and unavoidable trade-off that Switzerland requires. It is among the most expensive countries on Earth to visit. Accommodation, food, transport, and activities all carry price tags that demand realistic budgeting. A meal that costs 15 euros in Ireland costs 40 in Zurich. A hotel room that would be mid-range in Amsterdam is at the luxury end in Geneva. But Switzerland is not overpriced in the way Venice is overpriced, where you pay a premium for a diminished experience. Switzerland is expensive because it is genuinely exceptional. The quality is real, the safety is real, the beauty is real, the healthcare is real. The price reflects all of that honestly and without apology. Here is the truth about Switzerland that makes it #1 on this list. Every other destination we covered today asked you to accept some trade-off, some compromise between beauty and safety, between cost and quality, between access and authentic experience. Switzerland has built a destination where those trade-offs are as small as they get anywhere in Europe. You pay a premium, you receive a premium. The landscape exceeds expectations. The safety exceeds expectations. The infrastructure simply works. The best European destination is not necessarily the most famous one. It is the one that fits how you travel, what you value, and what you need to feel genuinely comfortable and completely at peace. For travelers who have earned the right to a trip that delivers exactly what it promises, without the constant defensive posture that so many other destinations require, that destination is Switzerland. Hey, thanks for watching. If this list helped you figure out where to go and where to stay away from, subscribe right now so you do not miss our next video. We are ranking the safest and most spectacular destinations in Southeast Asia next week, and at least 3 of the entries are going to change the way you think about traveling in that entire region. Hit subscribe, and you will be the first to know when it drops.
It was here at Republic Station that the attacker stabbed his first victim at 4:15 p.m. Over the next 30 minutes, the man travelled along Paris's Metro Line 3 and pulled out his knife again at Arts-en-Métiers, assaulting a second woman.
Number 6. France, Paris, Paris. The most visited city in the world. The Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, the light on the Seine in the late afternoon. The boulangeries and the wine and the impossibly beautiful architecture at every turn. The idea of Paris is one of the most powerful ideas in global culture, and the city earns substantial parts of that idea completely. But Paris has a tourist crime problem that is among the most severe of any major destination in the developed world. And that problem is systematically underreported because the tourism industry has an enormous financial interest in minimizing it. The organized pickpocketing networks operating in Paris are not random opportunists. They are structured criminal groups that specifically and professionally target tourists. The areas around the Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, the Sacré-Cœur, the Champs-Élysées, and virtually every major metro line running to tourist destinations are active operating environments for thieves who are exceptionally skilled at what they do. Tens of thousands of tourists are pickpocketed in Paris every year. Most never reported, correctly concluding that nothing will come of it. Healthcare in France is a genuine bright spot. French hospitals operate at high standards. Paris has multiple world-class medical facilities, and European health insurance cards provide meaningful coverage for EU citizens. For serious medical events, Paris is one of the better places in the world to have them. That matters and should be acknowledged. Cost has surged to levels that make Paris one of the most expensive cities in the world for visitors. Accommodation value in the mid-range segment in particular has not kept pace with prices. Infrastructure is exceptional. The metro, when not being used as a crime environment, is world-class in coverage and frequency. Rail connections across France and into neighboring countries are among the best in Europe. The verdict on Paris is not that you should not go. It is that you should go with your eyes open, your passport locked in the hotel safe, and your phone inside your clothing rather than in your hand. The city is magnificent. It is also a predatory environment for unwary tourists, and that combination is what earns Paris its placement here. And the next destination has built an entire local economy around extracting money from visitors through mechanisms more sophisticated and harder to avoid than almost anywhere else in Europe.
And other stories we're tracking this Sunday. One man is dead, another in custody after a shooting last night in Floyd County. Officers were called to an area off Knollwood Drive, just east of the center of Rome.
Number 5. Italy, Rome and Venice. Italy as a whole does not belong on any danger list. The Dolomites, the Amalfi Coast, Tuscany, Sicily, Italy is one of the great travel destinations on Earth. This entry is specifically about Rome and Venice because both cities have developed specific problems that the broader glow of Italian travel consistently obscures. Rome has one of the most active pickpocketing environments of any major European city. The Colosseum, the Trevi Fountain, the Spanish Steps, the Vatican, and the metro lines connecting them are professional operating environments for theft networks that specifically target tourists. The Termini train station and its surroundings are documented as particularly high risk. Taxi scams involving unofficial drivers and inflated fares at the airports are persistent and well documented. Venice compounds a different set of problems. The city has fewer than 50,000 permanent residents and receives approximately 30 million visitors per year. That ratio has produced a pricing model built entirely on the assumption that every visitor arrives for one day and will never return. Dining along the main tourist corridors is almost uniformly poor and aggressively priced. For senior travelers, Rome's uneven ancient cobblestones and Venice's hundreds of bridge steps both present specific physical challenges. In Venice, for major cardiac events, emergency response is slower than in comparable mainland cities because ambulance boats navigate the same canals as tourist gondolas, and access to some areas is genuinely time-consuming. Both cities, approached with realistic expectations and time to get off the main circuits, can deliver extraordinary things. But arriving unprepared in either one is expensive, frustrating, and in some cases genuinely risky. And the next destination on this list is one where the problems are not about crime or pricing at all. They are about a set of risks that most tourists have never once been warned about.
We're watching footage of Barcelona. In the metro, these pickpockets are caught in the act.
It's them again. They're the pickpockets. The pickpockets.
Number 4. Spain, Barcelona. Spain is one of the most popular travel destinations in the world, and for entirely defensible reasons. The food culture is extraordinary. The architecture, from the Gothic Quarter to Gaudi's Sagrada Familia, is unlike anything in Northern Europe. The pace of life, the warmth, the wine, the weather. Spain earns its reputation, but Barcelona specifically has developed a tourist crime problem so severe that local authorities and even the city's tourism board have acknowledged it publicly, which in the world of tourism marketing is a remarkable admission. Pickpocketing in Barcelona is not background noise. It is an industry. La Rambla, Barceloneta Beach, the Gothic Quarter, and the Metro are active operating environments for theft networks among the most sophisticated in Europe. The distraction techniques are elaborate and constantly evolving. Spilled liquid on your clothing, a stranger pointing at your shoes, a group pressing you as you enter a metro car. Bag snatching by moped and bicycle is specifically prevalent and has been the subject of repeated police campaigns that have not resolved the underlying problem. For senior travelers who may react more slowly and carry valuables less securely, Barcelona's tourist areas require continuous vigilance that the city's beautiful, relaxed atmosphere makes easy to abandon. For senior travelers, Barcelona's private hospitals provide functional emergency cardiac care. Spain's overall healthcare system is one of the stronger ones in southern Europe, and EU citizens have coverage through the European Health Insurance Card. Cost in Barcelona has surged sharply, driven by a volume of tourism that has generated significant local protest. Infrastructure is excellent, the metro is modern, the airport efficient, and the high-speed rail connecting Barcelona to Madrid is among the best in Europe. Barcelona is worth visiting, but it requires active protective measures from the moment you arrive, and its combination of beauty and genuine danger creates exactly the conditions where tourists lower their guard and pay the price. We have now reached the turning point of this list. Up to this point, every destination came with trade-offs and risks that are genuinely hard to plan around. From here, that changes. The 3 countries left on this list are the ones that actually get it right. Not perfect, but consistent, safe, and genuinely worth your time and money. Drop a comment right now and tell us which of these countries you have been to and whether your experience matched what we described. We read every single one, and your story could genuinely help someone else make the right decision before they book.
Police in Northern Ireland have vowed to crack down on any further trouble after 2 nights of unrest triggered by a brutal stabbing in Belfast on Monday. 12 police officers were injured in the violence last night, 16 people were arrested and 2 have been charged.
Number 3, Ireland. Ireland earns its place in the safe tier through a combination of factors that matter enormously for the category of traveler this video was built for, and it does so while offering a cultural and landscape experience that stands entirely on its own merits. Safety in Ireland is among the best in Europe by any measure. The Global Peace Index consistently places Ireland in the top tier globally. Violent crime targeting tourists is extremely rare. Dublin has the petty theft and pickpocketing that any major city produces, concentrated around Temple Bar and the main shopping streets, but at levels that represent ordinary urban background risk, rather than the organized professional predation that defines Paris or Barcelona. Outside Dublin, Ireland is one of the safest environments for independent travel in the world. The West Coast, the Wild Atlantic Way, the Ring of Kerry, the Aran Islands, the Burren, all of it is navigable at whatever pace you choose with no meaningful security concern. The Irish landscape rewards the traveler who is willing to move slowly. The cliffs of Moher in morning light before the tour buses arrive, the silence of Connemara in October, the Dingle Peninsula at any time of year, the Ring of Kerry driven clockwise in the late afternoon. None of these experiences require vigilance or planning beyond deciding to show up, and showing up is almost always enough. For senior travelers, Ireland has several specific advantages that deserve emphasis. The country is English-speaking, which eliminates the disorientation that language barriers create in much of Europe. The pace of hospitality is genuinely unhurried, and the Irish instinct toward conversation and toward helping visitors is not a performance for tourist money. It is cultural. Older travelers consistently report feeling more welcomed and more naturally at ease in Ireland than in destinations with more aggressive tourism economies. Healthcare in Ireland is a genuine consideration. The public system operates under pressure, and waiting times in public emergency rooms can be long. The private hospital sector, including the Mater Private, the Blackrock Clinic, and the Beacon Hospital in Dublin, provides care at international standards for those with travel insurance that covers private treatment. For serious cardiac events in Dublin, specialist care is available. Outside the capital, regional hospitals handle emergencies competently, but complex specialist cases may transfer to Dublin. Travel medical insurance that covers private treatment is recommended for all visitors, and particularly for senior travelers. Cost in Ireland has risen significantly and is now among the higher price points in Western Europe. Dublin accommodation in particular is expensive, driven by a housing crisis that has distorted the entire accommodation market. Outside Dublin, prices are more reasonable, and the value on food and experience in rural Ireland is genuinely good. Infrastructure is functional. Dublin Airport handles direct transatlantic flights from multiple US and Canadian cities, which is a meaningful practical advantage for North American travelers who want a straightforward journey. Roads in rural Ireland are narrow and occasionally challenging to navigate, which is part of the experience but worth knowing in advance. Ireland is the entry on the safe portion of this list, where the safety, the culture, and the landscape all point in the same direction. Come, take your time, and let the country do what it does best. And the next destination offers a different kind of consistently excellent experience, one built not on landscape and culture, but on a civic standard that Europe's most celebrated destinations have never quite managed to match.
The gunman is still at large. Police are looking for a 37-year-old Turkish-born man, and they've warned people not to approach him. According to the country's counter-terrorism chief, a terror motive can't be excluded.
Number 2, the Netherlands. The Netherlands earns its place here through the kind of consistent, dependable excellence that does not generate dramatic travel writing but delivers exactly what it promises every single time. Amsterdam is one of Europe's great cities. The Canal Ring, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is genuinely one of the most beautiful urban environments in the world. The Rijksmuseum, the Van Gogh Museum, the Anne Frank House, the city's extraordinary cycling culture, the brown cafes along the Prinsengracht. Amsterdam delivers a depth of cultural experience that rewards multiple visits. Beyond Amsterdam, the country offers Delft's ceramic heritage and Gothic skyline, Haarlem's flower markets and Frans Hals Museum, Rotterdam's modern architecture built from the bombed rubble of the Second World War, and the tulip fields of the Bollenstreek in April that produce one of the most photographed landscapes in Europe. Safety in the Netherlands is among the very best in Europe. The Global Peace Index consistently places it in the top tier. Violent crime targeting tourists is rare. Amsterdam has bicycle theft at remarkable scale, and pickpocketing in the Rijksmuseum area and the red light district occurs, but at levels that represent manageable background risk rather than organized predation. Outside Amsterdam, the Netherlands is exceptionally safe. For senior travelers, the Netherlands has developed some of the most accessible urban infrastructure in Europe. Dutch cities are flat. The tram and metro systems are excellent, step-free, and comprehensible. The Dutch instinct toward practical helpfulness means that asking for directions or assistance with transport produces efficient, friendly, English-language responses virtually everywhere in the country. Healthcare in the Netherlands is excellent and represents one of the strongest arguments for the destination among older travelers. The Amsterdam UMC, the Erasmus MC in Rotterdam, and the UMC Utrecht are all major university medical centers operating at world-class standards. Specialist cardiac care, emergency response, and complex surgical capacity are all at levels that provide genuine reassurance. The Netherlands ranks consistently among the top healthcare systems in Europe by independent assessment. Cost is moderate to high. Amsterdam is an expensive city, and accommodation in the Central Canal District carries premium pricing. But the value on food, museum entry, and transport is reasonable, and the day trip destinations around Amsterdam, Haarlem, Delft, Leiden, Utrecht, are all reachable by train in under an hour and significantly cheaper. Infrastructure is exceptional. Schiphol Airport is one of the best connected and most passenger-friendly airports in the world, with direct service from North America, Asia, and throughout Europe. The Dutch rail network is one of the most reliable in Europe. The Netherlands edges Ireland for this position because it adds world-class healthcare to Ireland's safety profile, at a level that gives senior travelers in particular the clearest possible reassurance about what happens if something goes wrong. And the destination at the top of this list takes everything the Netherlands offers and adds a natural environment that belongs in a completely different conversation. Number 1. Switzerland. Switzerland is the most predictable entry at the top of this list, and it belongs here for reasons that are not complicated. Switzerland is safe. Not just European safe, globally safe. The crime rate is one of the lowest in the world. Violent crime against tourists is so rare that when incidents occur, they become significant local news precisely because of how unusual they are. The political system is stable to the point of being legendarily boring, which is exactly the kind of boring that makes for excellent travel. The police are well-trained, well-resourced, and trustworthy in ways that matter when you actually need them. The mountains are what most people come for, and the mountains deliver without compromise. The Jungfrau region and the Eiger's north face above Grindelwald. The Matterhorn at Zermatt, exactly as dramatic in person as every photograph has suggested. The Bernese Oberland and the view from the Schilthorn. The Engadin Valley above St. Moritz in winter light. The Rhine Falls at Schaffhausen. Switzerland's physical landscape operates at a scale and a quality of light and air and silence that has been drawing travelers for 2 centuries and continues to justify every single one of them. Rail travel in Switzerland is a separate and genuine pleasure, with the Glacier Express and the Bernina Express offering views through alpine scenery that are simply not available anywhere else in Europe. For senior travelers, Switzerland provides something rare and immensely valuable, a country where the infrastructure has been built with genuine care for people who are not moving at speed. Swiss train stations are impeccably accessible. The cogwheel railways and cable cars that access the mountain destinations are operated with Swiss precision and reliability. The towns of the Berner Oberland and the Engadin are compact, walkable, and designed for extended stays rather than quick transits. The entire country operates at a pace and a standard that makes travel feel effortless in a way that larger, more chaotic destinations never quite manage. Healthcare in Switzerland is the gold standard of what medical care can mean when you are far from home. Zurich, Geneva, Basel, and Bern all have university hospital systems ranking among Europe's best equipped and best staffed. Specialist cardiac care, surgical capacity, and emergency response are all at standards that compare favorably with anywhere in the world. For travelers with serious existing health conditions, Switzerland answers the question of what happens if something goes medically wrong better than any other entry on this list. The European Health Insurance Card provides coverage for EU citizens, and private travel insurance for non-EU visitors provides excellent coverage at very reasonable rates given the quality of care available. Infrastructure is exceptional in ways that make other countries' excellent infrastructure look approximate. Swiss trains run on time. This is not a cliché. It is an engineering and operational achievement maintained deliberately and continuously. Swiss roads are beautifully maintained even in alpine winter conditions. Airports in Zurich and Geneva are among the most efficient and passenger-friendly in Europe, with direct service from North America and global hubs. Power is absolutely reliable. Internet is fast and ubiquitous everywhere, including in mountain villages. Cost is the honest and unavoidable trade-off that Switzerland requires. It is among the most expensive countries on Earth to visit. Accommodation, food, transport, and activities all carry price tags that demand realistic budgeting. A meal that costs 15 euros in Ireland costs 40 in Zurich. A hotel room that would be mid-range in Amsterdam is at the luxury end in Geneva. But Switzerland is not overpriced in the way Venice is overpriced, where you pay a premium for a diminished experience. Switzerland is expensive because it is genuinely exceptional. The quality is real, the safety is real, the beauty is real, the healthcare is real. The price reflects all of that honestly and without apology. Here is the truth about Switzerland that makes it number 1 on this list. Every other destination we covered today asked you to accept some trade-off, some compromise between beauty and safety, between cost and quality, between access and authentic experience. Switzerland has built a destination where those trade-offs are as small as they get anywhere in Europe. You pay a premium, you receive a premium. The landscape exceeds expectations. The safety exceeds expectations. The infrastructure simply works. The best European destination is not necessarily the most famous one. It is the one that fits how you travel, what you value, and what you need to feel genuinely comfortable and completely at peace. For travelers who have earned the right to a trip that delivers exactly what it promises, without the constant defensive posture that so many other destinations require, that destination is Switzerland. Hey, thanks for watching. If this list helped you figure out where to go and where to stay away from, subscribe right now so you do not miss our next video. We are ranking the safest and most spectacular destinations in Southeast Asia next week, and at least 3 of the entries are going to change the way you think about traveling in that entire region. Hit subscribe, and you will be the first to know when it drops.